This is Terrell the Contractor. So, I was just having a conversation with another contractor I'm working with, and we just went over overhead, we just went over profitability, and he's crushing it on that. And I mean, this is a guy that started at nothing, and he was actually working for me at one point, and then we got him to start his own business, and then he was doing 40K and then 130K, and this year he's already over 225K, tracking at 500K. And he's already running into the issues, that we talk about in the coaching portion. And that first one is marketing, right? He's got his marketing down, and he's got the leads coming in, because when you set your business up correctly, the clients, the leads, the jobs, that's the easiest part of all this. The work comes to those who are good. I mean, if you have a good heart, you're a good person, you just run a decent business, and you just do what you say you're going to do, and you respect the clients, you communicate quickly, you act professional, you're not out here being a degenerate, right? You're not out here drinking every night, you're not smoking, you're not doing drugs, you're not cheating on your girlfriends, cheating on your wives. You're just doing what you're supposed to be doing as a normal human being. Good things come to you. And so I was talking to him. Sorry if my camera gets a little dark here. For an iPhone 15, their FaceTime camera sure sucks in low light. But anyways, so I was talking to him because we had just gone over all these things in our last meeting. And in fact, the very last meeting we did was about hiring, right? We set up employee handbooks. We set up job descriptions. We created an org chart, all for him to hit his goal of 500K this year. And he was struggling through it. He's like, I did everything you told me to. I have a ton of applications and I just don't know where to start. Can we jump to the operations and the operations part, which is like the last part? It's like in month 3, month 4, bro. We're like month 2. And so we still have to get through cash flow numbers before you jump to operations. And I was trying to explain to him, ideally, when you're building a company, you're not going to have you're not going to have systems and processes until you have employees, right? Because you don't know what the systems and processes are. I mean, you have an idea, right? And you can start writing those down. You can start brainstorming the things you run into. But each employee is going to bring their own troubles, their own issues that you're going to create new systems for, right? And then you're going to refine those systems for the first project manager, second project manager. And by the third project manager, they're going to have a full blueprint of what you went through, the first one went through, the second one went through. And you're going to take the sum of all 3 job roles who's done it. You're going to take the sum of all 3, throw it into ChatGPT and say, hey, these were all the issues we ran into. Here's all the things we learned. Create me a full SOP / with checklists and daily and weekly SOPs to hand off to this person. Then you're going to review that and it's going to fit the box. You run it through AI. And that's what you're going to use as your systems and processes for that employee, right? You're going to do this for everyone. You're going to continue to fine tune these systems. So like when my superintendent came in, I gave him a big old fat workbook about 12 pages thick and said, hey man, study it, learn it, understand it. I will judge you by one thing and one thing only, and that is this. Because if he fails, it's because that system failed, as long as he's following it. So that's what I told this guy that I was talking to. I was like, hey man, just get your guy onboarded, right? Go ahead, send him the job description. If he passes off on that, he passes the interview, hire him. Once you hire him, give him your employee handbook. Your employee handbook will tell you hours you're working, what you expect, what he will be judged on, what he will get his bonuses, his rewards by how he will climb up the ladder in your business. Because at the end of the day, every person you hire, you want to train them to one day maybe take over the business. And so that's what I said. I said, just hire him. Don't worry about the processes. Don't worry about the systems. All that stuff is going to come. You're still new. And so he got caught up on that, and that's totally fine. I get it. But it was the first time someone said, hey, I want to jump into operations and systems before I've even hired anyone. And it's like, let's start here, move here. And why do I say this? I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but I say this because I scaled my business to 5 million in 3 years, less than 3 years. And right now the world is ours, right? It's easier than ever to score work. In fact, I got another $1 million of work. I'm sitting down at my office next week and will most likely close 2 out of 3 of them and land about, $750,000, $1 million. If I land them all, it's like 1.5. But anyways, moral of today's story is follow a system, right? Follow one that works. Very few can create their own. And I implore you, read enough books, watch enough YouTube videos, go out there, find a coach, any coach, and learn it yourself. It is possible, but I can tell you right now, spending 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand on a coach versus doing what I did and underbidding by 70 grand, losing out on 70 grand, losing out on 100 grand, having a coach is 10 times cheaper. I promise you, it's 10 times cheaper just paying a little bit more money for a coach, because you're going to avoid huge costs. And unfortunately, I know some people that are going to hit those costs, and I'm not going to say I told you so. I'm going to say, hey, let's avoid from making the next set of expensive mistakes. Because my goal is to help, right? And I would do it for free, and I have done it for free. But the problem is when you do it for free and you're being successful running your own, $5 million company, and you have a family to feed, like your time just becomes unlimited. Your time becomes limited. You can't work with everyone. You can't do everything. You have to delegate your time to the highest tasks that make the most money. And so that's what I teach. That's what I preach. That's what I have to do. Because at the end of the day, it's true. You can't do everything. You can't do the design for your company. You can't do the sales for your company. You can't do the marketing for your company. You can't go out there and then perform the job, do the follow-up, send the emails when you're doing $1 to $5 million of work. You can't. And if you can, I'd love to hear your story, because you would be a first. And I can tell you right now, when I have 5 projects going on, a couple of them are $1 million projects, a couple are $500,000 projects, and then a whole bunch of little jobs going on, I can't be at every job site fighting all those fires while doing client updates, while getting material orders, while still managing marketing, while still doing my bookkeeping and accounting, while still spending time with my family and being a present father. You can't. There's only 24 hours in a day, and you got to sleep at least 6 of them. So that leaves you with 18 hours in a day. At $5 million in revenue, do the math on those projects. You physically cannot by yourself manage all that by yourself. So what is the inverse of that we've learned from some of the biggest businesses in the world? Well, you got to delegate it all. You don't see the owner of Starbucks or the owner of Costco or Home Depot at the front desk checkout counter. You don't see him managing the store. You don't see him sweeping the store. You don't see him helping people move carts outside. You don't see him in the sales team. You don't see him in the pro department. You see them at a high level running a chair of people that they've picked, because it's the most egotistical thing to ever say that, hey, no one can do this better than I can. Because if you think you're the best at all these things, or even one of those things, that will be your bottleneck. That'll be your ceiling, right? So it's a mindset shift that we have to teach, that I've been taught, that I try to teach my folks that I work with, that it's a mindset shift, that as you continue to grow, as you continue to make more money, do more projects, make more happy clients, and it will happen. I promise it will happen if you set your business up correctly. And it doesn't take skills. It just takes following a system that works. You set it up correctly. Making the money is the easy part. The hardest part is delegating, finding the right people, training the right people, being patient with the right people, and coaching the right people in your business to manage and run it for you. And the flip side of that is making sure you have enough money in the business to afford that and still have profit to make sure your family's taken care of and that your future's taken care of. That's the dilemma you're facing as a contractor. I promise you, at the end of the day, the dilemma is delegation versus making money, right? And so there is a way to do it. I found a way that works for me, and I teach that to folks. So if you're interested, hop over to my VSL video. It's on boysadvisory.com, or you can find it here on YouTube. If not, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, and please leave a subscribe and like and comment. Appreciate you guys.